we've rounded them both up. This is the story of the year for me. This is the team that somewhat failed a little bit in the 2019 Venom Rods Barrow Australian Open, but then came back with a vengeance this year and took home the money. Liam Robinson, James Wilson, thanks for joining us from different parts of Australia. You're a very unique team because you're about 1,000 kilometres apart. James, where are you situated right now?
I'm in Brisbane, just on South Bank at the moment.
Awesome. And Liam, where are you?
I'm in Serena, so south of Mackay.
Tell us the story of how you two guys got together and said, let's have a crack at putting the big bucks on the table and having a go at a Barrow event. Who's going to take this one off? Maybe James, you let us know how you two got together to form a team.
Yeah, for sure. So Liam and I have been workmates for probably about 7 or 8 years now. I started my working life up in Mackay and at Serena with Liam at the same workplace, and we got talking and both realised we liked to fish and went out for a few trips together. Liam had a boat and I had a boat, so my boat's a bit of more of an offshore boat, and Liam was the little white boat that we take around to the comps with us. And well, the little white boat started out having a bit of a vortex on the back of it, the old two-stroke vortex.
Yep.
And our first tournament was actually the Kinchant tournament in 2016, and
Yes.
we rocked up there with the vortex engine and the little white boat, and a recently acquired bit of kit, the electric motor, which we thought was flash, and a whole lot of amazing bass boats pulled up at that tournament as well, and we realised we might be a bit out of our depth here. So we had our tactics there to do a bit of top water fishing. So we burned across the other side of the dam to our spot after kickoff, and we got to our spot, and I was feeling actually as crook as a dog that day, absolutely crook. So I've said to Liam, I can't even throw the rod, and I've curled up at the front of the white boat, and I've actually fallen asleep. So this was about maybe an hour into the competition. And then sunset came around, and I think Liam wasn't getting anything in the top water section, so was going to move around, and I've heard him go to pull start the old vortex, and a bit of a clunk, and I've lifted my head up and said, "Oh, well, what's happened? You haven't broken the cord on the pull start, have you?" And I didn't get anything back from him and fell back to sleep, and probably 20 minutes later I've woken back up, and the vortex turned about 1,000 pieces, and Liam's got the pull start mechanism apart, the springs everywhere, and so our first tournament Liam spent trying to fix the motor, and I was sleeping up the front of the boat. And lucky we had bought that electric motor, because that was the thing that actually got us back to the ramp at the end of the night. I think we might have been about half an hour late getting back, but we hadn't caught any fish either. So,
well, they were reasonably inauspicious start to your Barrow career. Let's fast forward to the 2019 Venom Rods Barrow Open. There were 14 teams in it. What were your tactics there, and how did that event go, Liam?
It was okay. I think that was one of the first times. It might have been a bit longer before that, but we were still learning about barramundi fishing then, and I think it's a really good way is doing the comps to learn. And we went there and assessed it. I had the Hummingbird. I think I had a Gen 2 12 by then, so we used that a lot and we thought, but it was a really different competition. It was cold and the wind changed like 50 million times during the night. So we knew they were going to be in the trees after finding them there, so we just went into the trees. It was so thick in there, and we just, I think we were about 50 metres away from the Wilson boys who actually won it, because there was a lot of fish in those trees, but they just got them better than what we did, and we stuck it out in there, managed to get 2 fish, and I thought that was a really good result, to be honest. That was really hard barrow fishing.
That's right. Now, I heard a rumour about you guys putting some hard yards in between 2019 and 2020. What was your training regime between not getting them in 2019 but then getting them this year, and getting them like 10 times as good this year? What was your training?
So I was living in Rockhampton at that stage. So I think we were the September last year. I think it would have been just about 6 or 7 moons in a row. I went to a Wonga, that's full moon, of course. And I said they can't let it beat me. And I really like the dam. I really like staying there and everything about it. And I spent a lot of time there. And I found that spot. I think it would have been that we won it in February or something like that. It looked really good then, and I got a couple of bites, and I've been there a few times since then, and always got a few, and I hadn't been back there in a few months until the comp, and we went there, and I looked at it straight away as soon as I got there on the Saturday before it, and I was like, man, this looks good. It looks even better, and I went back there that Saturday night and got one, and I didn't go back until the Tuesday of the comp. And
so you managed your fish pretty well, James. How was it? How was it to have a teammate that was willing to put in such a big effort to find them for you? It must be awesome just to rock up and have someone know what they're doing. You know.
Yeah, I'm the good looks of the operation, Steve. So I show up and give us a bit of clout, whereas Liam's the brains behind it and the hard work behind it. But yeah, we did put in a bit of work during the pre-fish. We had a bit of an interesting one, actually. We had that spot which we left alone, and I sort of had to keep pulling Liam away from the spot, saying, leave the spot alone, Liam. We don't want to spook any of the fish there. We wanted to keep on showing up there. So we went for a bit of a look for some other spots in case someone got to that spot before us, not having the fastest boat in the fleet. And so one of the spots we actually went to, I ended up breaking a rod and falling in the water. So that's how hard we were free fishing.
You're going in 100%. Let's fast forward now to the tournament itself, and we have a saying at ABT: people who are sponsored by a company or who use the company's product that sponsor the event always have really good karma. I want to hear about the tactics that you use in the event, because this lure here that the Wilsons actually gave everyone in the lure packs, this fish trap, I hear played a big part in your success. Tell us the story about the fish trap and how you guys used it to win the Open.
So our tactic was, because it's a long time from 2 to 6, when any barrier you sort of get in the day, I count as a bonus, to be honest, in that. And so we had some really thick trees close to us where there was a lot of big barra in, but they were just impossible to bite. And we went there, and I managed to get one around 3 o'clock on the first day on a fish trap. It was just I think it must have had its mouth open in there, and I put it straight into it. And there was a big girl. We got her out, and then so that was the tactic each day. We'd go into the trees from 2 to around 5:30. We'd move on to our point, and then from 5:30 onwards, we'd stay on our point, so fish traps. Yeah, I use vibes way too much, just because they work and they're easy to use, and there's a lot of different ways you can use them. So one of us would use one colour, one would use the other, and we perform different lifts until we got the bite. And then so different techniques until we got the bite, and once we got the bite, we both switch on to one technique. And that's how we played out the night.
So you talk about the colours. Show us the colours that you were doing the damage with.
So in the daytime, so 5:30 to around 6:30, we'd use some lighter sort of colours. I don't have one on me, sorry, but I think they're like ghost catfish and that. But so the colours we used were the sunset. You can see that, okay? So perfect. I just grab these ones off the rod, and that one I think is the Red Devil.
Yep.
Is that all right?
So it's got the red belly and the red black back. Yep.
Yeah, and that was probably our most successful lure, to be honest. We got a lot of fish on that.
Yeah.
And
accounted for a lot of fish.
Yeah, and the blackjack, which is one of my favourite ones I've used for a long, long time.
It seems like that black colour is a real theme of yours in the vibes there. Any reason why you like the black so much? Is it because it mimics something, or is it just experience?
Experience. I rarely throw anything into a dam that doesn't have black on it. It's just one of my rules. And I think it must just be I'm not entirely sure, to be honest. I always thought it'd be because Barra are feeding up, they're looking up in the moonlight, and it's just like a contrast as opposed to like a clear one, which mightn't throw as much, is what I've always thought. Probably that.
Because I was looking at the report for the guys that came second, and one of their favourite baits was a pure white slick rig. So, it's funny how it's whatever you're confident throwing, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah. A lot of confidence behind it.
Now let's have a look at the results from the 3 days. They were 3 totally different days. On the first day, you weighed 5 fish for 34 kilos. The second day, 4 fish for 28, but then the third day, 5 fish for 45 kilos. It seems like that second day was the most difficult. And even though it seemed to be blowing the same sort of direction, there wasn't many weather changes at all through the weekend. Why was that second day more difficult? Did you shank a few fish, or did they not bite as well? What was going on there?
I was thinking. Sorry. Oh, sorry. You're right. You go.
I reckon there's probably a few things we can put it down to, but the main one that I would say is that we didn't actually get a fish during the day on the second day. So both on the first day and the third day, we managed to jag a fish during the day, which really gave us that spurt of confidence, as we've talked about, and put us in good stead for the night sort of time starting. And probably the other part was, which Liam hasn't spoken much about yet, but I was using heavier leader on day 1 and 2, and those 9 fish that we caught on the first day, they were all Liam's fish. And Liam's told me, come on, Jimmy, change your leader. We put on a lighter leader. And I put on a lighter leader on the third day, and I was able to pick up a few fish and help bring home the win as well.
So tell us about the lighter leader. What were you using, and then what did you switch to?
I was using 80-pound leader for the first day and the second day, and then the last day switched to 50-pound leader. So Liam was picking up all his fish on 50-pound leader.
Yeah,
it's funny that it makes a difference. They're both quite thick lines, but one's obviously something the fish can see and feel less.
I was not a believer before that. Before I fished with a lot of 80 just for the sake of it, but I'll definitely be running a lot lighter now, even though you do lose the occasional one, which happened.
Yep. Now tell us about the tackle you guys fish. Do you fish bait cast, spin gear? I know you like the 50-pound leader, but what compromises the rest of the outfits?
Yep. So I've got them all up here. So we've got 3 rigged the identical same way. So I've got a Stratic 4000. Yep. And on they don't make them anymore, but I really like them. I've got about 5 of them. So they're called a Villain 2.0. So they're an Abu, and they're I think they're so 8 to 14. And they're 7 foot, and they medium heavy, and like we could punch 50 to 60 metre casts, which was we wanted to stay right away from where we were fishing to not stir anything up, so we could punch them right in.
And what sort of braid do you use in between the rod and the leader?
So I run 30-pound fins on everything.
Yep.
So
and you find it doesn't. Now let's talk about the retrieve. If someone's going up to a Woonga now and they want to get, they want to benefit from your experience of getting this retrieve right, how do they fish that fish trap to get the bites on those points?
It really depended on where the fish, how low they were. So we could see them when they pushed through on the sounder. Some were really hugging the bottom, barely on it, and some were up from it. So like one of us would do I can pretty much do it on my sleep now. It's just a double hop, a tiny little double hop that's come off the bottom, and then I just let it sit back and just straight away a tiny little double hop. Or it was just a single hop. We just changed that up. And Jimmy, a lot of the time, was on a slow loop, so it's just a giant bring up of the rod, and then it's just one in slack and let it go back down. But like I would have said, 90% of the bites are on the tiny little double hop.
Yep, on the little double hop there. That's awesome because what that does is that takes a lot of the, if you're going to be heading to a Woonga, people watching this, and a lot of guys are going to be going to a Woonga, especially Queenslanders that can actually get there, that sort of taking that ambiguity really helps. And that's ABT's motto, this who shares wins. So if people can learn from you how they can catch more Barra, for us that means maybe more people might get into the Barra events. It might mean a bigger prize pool for you guys to partake in next year. We know the event went from 14 boats in the first year to 30 boats in the second year. So, with a Woonga pumping so many fish into it, the lake looks awesome. We all know how many bony brim are in there. I think so long as it doesn't run over, there's the glory days of a Woonga are coming back, aren't they?
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, I think that's right, and probably just to prove that Liam and I were that keen that we went back for a celebration fish the day after the event, and managed to clean up again and get a few more barramundi. We thought we'd go a bit of top water, but that didn't work out, so we went back to our spot, and I think we got two more really nice fish there that night.
Yeah, that's amazing, guys, and just reinforcing the fact that just tell us about the boat, the little white bandit. It's it's about 4.5 meters long. Tell us exactly what your boat is.
Yeah, so it's a 4.2 Renegade with a 44-stroke Yami on it. Is my first boat, so it's pretty special to get a win in that. But I've probably got more electronics on the boat now that's worth than the actual boat. So. Yeah.
And what are you running in the electronics department?
Yeah, so I've got two Helix 12s, a Gen 2 and a Gen 3, and I've just recently got a Mega 360. So still learning to use that, but it's very cool.
Awesome, mate. Well, hey, Hummingbird's a great ABT sponsor again this year. I know a lot of the guys use that side imaging, the live technology. All of those technologies now are just letting us see the barra that are there. And you guys worked out how to hook them and catch them the best. So congratulations. It was a great win. Plenty of cash in the pocket for you guys. I only mailed the checks a couple of days ago. Are you going to be back next year to defend the title, James?
I think we'll have to come back. Otherwise, it'll look like we fluked it. So we got to give it another go.
Guys, thank you very much for joining us on ABT Lockdown Live. I hope your story of success in the little 4.2 metre encourages other people to come and give these ABT events a go. Thanks for joining us.
All right. Thanks, Dave.
Thanks, Dave.